Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell y'all something right now. If you ever had to deal with a narcissist, you know it ain't easy. These folks walk around like the world owes them something. They love the spotlight, they crave attention, and they feed off your reactions. But let me give you a reality check. You don't have to play that game. You don't have to shrink to make them feel tall. You can take your power back. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something right off the bat. If you want to get under a narcissist's skin, if you really want to shake their world without raising your voice, you got to learn how to master your emotions. I'm talking about being cool under pressure. Now, I know that's easier said than done, especially when someone is pushing all your buttons on purpose. Narcissists are real good at that. They poke, they prod, they manipulate just to get a reaction out of you. That reaction, that's their prize. That's their fuel. They want to see you flustered. They want to see you angry, crying, yelling. Whatever they can pull out of you, because as long as they can control how you feel, they control the room. They control the energy. But here's what you got to do. You take a breath, you step back, and you keep your peace. That's right. Silence, calm, detachment, those are your weapons. See, a narcissist expects you to explode. They want drama. They want chaos. Because in the middle of all that noise, they look powerful. But when you don't give it to them, when you stand there like a rock, unshaken, unmoved, it drives them crazy. They don't know what to do with that. It's like throwing gasoline on a fire and the fire won't light. It messes with their head. Now listen, this don't mean you ain't allowed to feel things. You human, you got a heart, you got emotions. I ain't saying you become cold. I'm saying you become smart. You feel what you gotta feel, but you don't let it leak out where they can use it against you. You handle it like a boss. You take your emotions home. You pray on it. You talk to God about it. You talk to someone who loves you. But in front of them, in front of that narcissist, you give them nothing. You smile, you nod, and you keep it moving. That's power. That's control. See, narcissists are like magicians. Their trick is to distract you with emotional confusion while they do their damage. They'll say something slick, they'll twist your words, they'll bring up your past, they'll attack your character, all to get you to defend yourself, to break you down emotionally. But what happens when you stop defending yourself? What happens when you just look at them and say, "You done?" What happens when you don't blink, don't flinch, don't respond with the drama they're fishing for? That's when they start to lose control. That's when their ego starts to crack. It's going to take practice, especially if you're used to reacting, especially if you got a good heart and you don't like people thinking bad about you. But the truth is, you don't owe anyone your peace, not when they're trying to rob you of it. And you don't owe anyone a reaction just because they tried to hurt you. The most powerful people in the world, they don't flinch when challenged. They don't scream when disrespected. They keep their cool and they let silence speak for them. So when that narcissist rolls in with their drama and their gaslighting and their need to be worshiped, don't take the bait. You ain't a puppet. You ain't on strings. You don't jump when they pull. You stand firm. You stay still. And you let their own chaos swallow them whole. You control your emotions. You control the whole situation. Because the moment you stop reacting is the moment they lose their power over you. And baby, that right there, That's how you start destroying that ego without even lifting a finger. When it comes to dealing with a narcissist, one of the most powerful things you can do is set firm boundaries and enforce them. See, narcissists don't respect limits. They don't hear no and back off. In fact, they hear no and treat it like a challenge. They think the rules don't apply to them, and they feel entitled to push as far as they can to get what they want. That's exactly why you have to draw the line clearly, boldly, and without fear, because if you don't, they'll keep creeping into your space, your mind, and your peace. Boundaries aren't for them, they're for you. They're a declaration that you matter, that your time, your energy, your emotions have value. Now, here's the tricky part. It's not just about saying where the line is. It's about standing by it. A narcissist will test you. They'll push right up against the edge of your boundary just to see if you'll hold firm. If you give an inch, they'll take a mile. They'll charm you, guilt trip you, argue with you, even play the victim, anything to make you second guess yourself. But you can't fold. You can't waver. Because the first time you break your own boundary, they'll know they've got you. That's when the real manipulation begins. You have to be consistent, calm, confident. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to justify why your boundary's there. It's there because you said so, and that's enough. Sometimes setting boundaries will make people uncomfortable. That's okay. You're not here to make a narcissist comfortable. You're here to protect your peace. They may call you selfish, cold, or dramatic. They may accuse you of being unreasonable. But that's just noise. That's just them reacting to the fact that they can't control you like they used to. And the more they react, the more you know the boundary is working. That discomfort, that pushback, it means you're doing something right. Setting boundaries might look like saying no to a favor that drains you. It might look like walking away from a conversation that turns toxic. It might be refusing to answer a message when you're being manipulated. Whatever it is, it's you reclaiming your space, you deciding that your well-being comes first. And once a narcissist sees they can't walk all over you, their ego takes a hit. Because control is their currency and boundaries make them bankrupt. Now let's talk about the power of saying no. That word, just 2 letters, holds so much weight. But a lot of people are scared of it. We're taught to be agreeable, to avoid conflict, to not rock the boat. But when you're dealing with a narcissist, yes becomes your prison. Every time you say yes when you mean no, you give away a little piece of your freedom. That's how you end up drained, resentful, stuck in a cycle where they get what they want and you're left picking up the pieces. But when you learn to say no clearly, directly, and without guilt, everything changes. No is not rude. No is not selfish. No is necessary. It's a boundary in itself. It tells the narcissist, I see what you're doing, and I'm not going along with it. And here's the key. You don't owe them a reason. Narcissists love to debate. They want you to explain yourself so they can twist your words and wear you down. Don't fall for it. A firm no followed by silence is one of the most powerful tools you have. They might lash out. They might act confused. They might try to make you feel like the bad guy. Let them. That reaction doesn't mean you did something wrong. It means you did something right. Saying no isn't about shutting them out. It's about opening the door to your own power. The more you say it, the stronger you get. And with every no, that narcissist's ego takes another hit because for the first time, they're not getting their way. You are taking back your power by saying no is one of the most underrated but most effective ways to deal with a narcissist. Narcissists live for control. They want to dominate the space, the conversation, and most of all, your decisions. Every time you say yes just to keep the peace or because you're afraid of their reaction, you're giving them a piece of your power. You're telling them that their needs matter more than your own. You might not mean to, but that's how they see it. And once they sense that you're someone who won't say no, they'll keep coming, pushing further and further, draining your energy and crossing every line you didn't even know you had. Saying no is not just a word, it's a boundary, a declaration, a shift in the dynamic. It tells the narcissist that they no longer have control over your choices. And that is exactly what they fear. Because once they realize that they can no longer manipulate you into doing what they want, their entire ego starts to shake. They don't know what to do when someone stands firm, when someone doesn't fold under guilt or pressure. It threatens everything they built their false confidence on. That's why they react so strongly to the word no. They'll try to make you feel like you're selfish, uncaring, or even cruel. But none of that is true. Saying no doesn't make you bad. It makes you strong. It makes you honest. It makes you free. There are going to be moments when you'll be tempted to say yes just to avoid an argument or to keep the situation calm. That's the trap. Narcissists are experts at using emotional pressure to get their way. They'll act like victims. They'll bring up everything they've ever done for you. They'll twist your words until you start questioning yourself. That's when you have to pause, breathe, and remember who you are. You're not here to be used. You're not here to be a puppet for someone else's ego. Your needs matter just as much as theirs, and sometimes more. You don't need to explain your no. You don't need a long speech, just a calm, clear response. And the more you do it, the stronger you become. What makes saying no so powerful is that it instantly resets the balance in any relationship, especially with a narcissist who's used to getting their way through charm, pressure, or manipulation. The first time you say no and mean it, they'll be shocked. The second time, they'll be angry. But if you keep doing it, they'll learn you're not someone who's easy to control anymore. And when they learn that, their ego takes a real hit because their identity is built around having influence over others. They need to feel in charge. But someone who says no without fear, that's someone they can't break. And the truth is, no doesn't just protect you from them, it empowers every part of your life. You start recognizing what you actually want, what you actually feel, what you actually need. You stop moving through life based on someone else's desires and start living from your own truth. That's a shift narcissists can't handle because it means they're no longer at the center of your world. That spotlight they crave so badly, you've taken it away and turned it inward on your own healing and growth. So every time you say no, even if your voice shakes, even if it feels uncomfortable, know that you're doing something powerful. You're rebuilding your confidence. You're breaking their control. You're showing that your life belongs to you. And trust this, when a narcissist hears no and knows you're not backing down, it cuts deeper than any insult because it means their games don't work on you anymore. And that, more than anything, destroys the illusion of their power. Outshining a narcissist with quiet confidence and success is one of the most powerful ways to deflate their ego without ever raising your voice. See, a narcissist thrives on the illusion that they are the most important, the most admired, the most accomplished person in the room. They need constant validation, constant applause, constant reminders that they're above everybody else. That's the fuel that keeps them going. But what happens when someone comes along who doesn't need attention to feel worthy? Someone who succeeds without bragging, grows without seeking approval, and shines without making noise. That's when the narcissist starts to feel threatened, because now the spotlight isn't on them, and worse, it's on someone they can't manipulate or compete with. You don't need to confront a narcissist to expose them. All you really need to do is focus on your own path and start leveling up. Improve your mindset, grow in your career, build healthier relationships, work on your goals in silence, and let your results speak loud enough for everyone to hear. Because the moment you begin to truly thrive, without them, beyond them, and in spite of them, you're delivering a blow straight to the core of their ego. They might try to act like it doesn't bother them, but it does. Deep down, they can't stand watching someone else win, especially someone they tried to control, belittle, or underestimate. And here's what makes it even more powerful. You don't need to prove anything. You're not doing it to get back at them. You're not out here posting every move or announcing every win. You're just living in your truth. That quiet confidence, the way you carry yourself with peace, with dignity, with purpose, it speaks volumes. Narcissists scream for attention because without it, they feel empty. But when you're grounded in who you are, you don't need the noise. You got real strength. And real strength is silent. It doesn't have to prove a thing. The narcissist may try to discredit you. They may downplay your accomplishments. They may gossip behind your back or spread lies just to make you look smaller. That's because they feel small next to you. They'll never admit it, but your success challenges their false reality. The one where they believe they're the best, the brightest, the most important person in every story. You, just by doing your thing, without even mentioning their name, become a mirror showing them everything they are not. And that's a wound their ego can't heal from easily. You don't have to engage. You don't have to defend yourself. Just keep moving forward. Keep growing. Keep winning. Let your peace confuse them. Let your joy disturb them. Let your growth remind them that they no longer have control. Because the truth is, when someone you tried to break starts shining, it hurts. It challenges the very core of who they think they are. Narcissists build their identity on superiority. And nothing threatens that identity more than someone they thought they could dominate becoming completely untouchable. So every time you choose peace over conflict, growth over revenge, grace over drama, you are quietly destroying the illusion they've created about themselves. They can't compete with someone who isn't playing the same game. While they're chasing attention, you're chasing purpose. While they're faking confidence, you're building the real thing. And in the end, the one who wins isn't the loudest. It's the one who keeps going, keeps growing, and doesn't stop for anyone who tried to block the path. There's no need to argue with a narcissist, to expose them, or to prove your worth. The greatest revenge is not revenge at all. It's silence, it's growth, it's living a life that speaks louder than anything they could ever say. And when you do that, their ego, the very thing they treasure most, begins to crumble. Not because you fought them, but because you outgrew them. Ignoring a narcissist completely, especially when they're desperate for attention, is like holding up a mirror to their emptiness, and that drives them wild. You see, narcissists feed off attention. Good or bad, praise or criticism, love or hate, it doesn't matter. As long as they've got your focus, they feel alive. They know how to push your buttons to keep you emotionally invested. They thrive on reactions. The moment you raise your voice, defend yourself, or even cry in front of them, they feel powerful because in their mind, if they can make you feel something, then they still control a part of you. That's why the ultimate move isn't arguing back, it's silence. It's indifference. It's cutting off that supply completely. When a narcissist no longer gets attention from you, it unsettles them deeply. They start to lose grip. It's like oxygen being slowly taken away. They don't know who they are without an audience. They don't know how to function without being noticed. That's why they might escalate their behavior at first. They'll poke harder, act louder, say wilder things just to get a rise out of you. But the moment you stop feeding their need for chaos, the moment you stop texting back, stop defending yourself, stop explaining, stop caring, they begin to unravel. Because now they're faced with the one thing they can't manipulate, your silence. It's not about giving the cold shoulder out of pettiness. It's about preserving your peace. It's about recognizing that some people don't deserve a front row seat in your life anymore. When someone constantly disrespects you, belittles you, or plays games with your mind, you owe them nothing. Not your words, not your time, not even your anger. Choosing to ignore a narcissist is an act of self-respect. It's saying, you no longer have access to me. That hurts their ego more than anything else, because nothing insults a narcissist more than being irrelevant. They might try to pull you back in. They'll love bomb you, fake apologies, act like they've changed. It's all part of the cycle. But if you stay grounded, if you stay silent and stay gone, they eventually realize they've lost something they can't replace: your attention, your energy, your presence. That's the kind of loss their ego can't process. They'll tell themselves lies to feel better. They'll pretend but deep down they know. They know you've detached. And detachment is the end of their power over you. This kind of silence isn't weakness, it's discipline. It takes strength to not respond when you've been insulted. It takes maturity to walk away from someone who's trying to provoke you. It takes confidence to know your worth and not feel the need to prove it. The narcissist may still talk. They may gossip, create drama, try to ruin your image. Let them. People who need attention to survive will always be loud. But your peace speaks louder. Your healing, your calm, your silence, it says more than words ever could. Eventually, the narcissist will look for someone else to target. That's what they do. When they can't control you anymore, they look for someone else who's easier to manipulate. Let them go, let them fade into the background where they belong. You're not responsible for fixing them. You're not responsible for helping them see the truth. Your only responsibility is to yourself, to your growth, your sanity, your freedom. And sometimes the best way to protect those things is by saying absolutely nothing at all. Ignoring a narcissist doesn't mean you're weak. It means you've grown. It means you've realized that your energy is sacred and not everyone deserves access to it, especially not someone who only wanted to use it to feed their own ego. When you stop giving them that energy, you start giving it back to yourself. And that's when the real healing begins. Not with noise, but with silence. Not with revenge, but with peace. One of the most powerful ways to destroy a narcissist's ego is by no longer needing their validation. Because make no mistake, that's what they've counted on from the very beginning. They've built their influence by making you second guess yourself, by creating situations where you needed their approval to feel good, needed their praise to feel worthy, or needed their attention to feel seen. That's how they hold power. Not through strength, but through the illusion that your value comes from them. But once you break free from that trap, once you realize that your worth was never tied to their opinion, the entire foundation they built starts to collapse. Narcissists want to be the center of your universe. They want to be the voice in your head. That's why they play mind games. That's why they give you just enough approval to keep you hooked, then pull it away. It's a cycle. They raise you up with fake praise, then tear you down with subtle jabs, leaving you desperate to earn their approval again. They make you feel like you're never enough, so you keep trying harder. You keep seeking their validation, hoping this time you'll finally be good enough. But that's the trap, because they don't want you to feel enough. They want you to feel dependent. And the moment you stop chasing their approval, the game ends. You start validating yourself. You start recognizing your own strengths without needing someone else to acknowledge them. You learn how to look in the mirror and say, I'm proud of who I'm becoming, without asking anyone for permission to feel that way. And for a narcissist, that's devastating, because now you're not playing the game. You're not looking to them for affirmation. You've taken your power back, and that means they no longer get to define you. The truth is, once you stop seeking validation from a narcissist, you start seeing things more clearly. You begin to realize how much they distorted your view of yourself. You remember who you were before they made you feel like you weren't enough. And you start building that person back up, stronger, wiser, more grounded. You stop doubting your instincts. You stop shrinking yourself to fit inside the box they created for you. And every step you take toward your own truth is another crack in the narcissist's ego. They might pretend not to notice, but they do. When you don't react to their compliments anymore, when their opinions no longer sway you, when their silence no longer makes you anxious, that shakes them, because it means their grip on you is gone. It means they're no longer in control. And a narcissist without control is like a balloon with no air. Deflated, directionless, powerless. They'll try to inflate themselves again by finding someone else to manipulate. Let them. That's no longer your concern. You've outgrown the role they cast you in. What's even more powerful is when you start validating others, when you use your own healing to lift up people around you. That's something narcissists can't do, because their validation is conditional. It's always based on control. But yours becomes genuine, empowering, rooted in truth. You start creating the kind of environment where people feel safe to be themselves, because you've learned the cost of false validation and empty approval. You know what it's like to live under someone else's version of your worth, and you've chosen to never go back. You don't need applause to keep walking forward. You don't need someone clapping in the background to remind you that you're on the right path. You know it, you feel it, that's enough. And when you live from that place, from self-worth, not ego, from truth, not illusion, you become untouchable to anyone who ever tried to make you doubt your own value. You don't have to destroy the narcissist directly. You just have to stop believing the lie that you need them to be complete, because you never did.